Whoops. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Oh, really? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Whoops, that didn't go so well. Yeah, because I had the wrong button. I think I present this evidence. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate of the studios, correct? Yes, sir, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. Here, I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right, anyway. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security camera data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know that that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th, really, Sonny. The point is that the camera wasn't turned on until 1 after the point where What's-His-Face went, which means this is the second person. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2. The computer only held data for 1 photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there is only data for 1 of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access to the security lady herself.
You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers.
But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by.
Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help.
Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
Some help you are, you're whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper?
Something the matter, Ms. Oldback?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate, someone other than the Steel Samurai.
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way.
I see. Your testimony, please.
Every day after I finish my god duties, I have one more other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out 1 photo that day.
Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it.
Right, anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination.
Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Every day after I finish my god duties, I have one other important job to do.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I didn't read what Maya said.
What to think of it? Couldn't she think of that a little earlier?
Bicycle to windbag maneuver, Maya.
Maybe a useful tactic to remember for use in my future career as a windbag.
Let's find out more about this erased photo. Huh? How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking?
Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces for the most part.
For the most part? This is a murder trial, Ms. Oldbag.
Well, I didn't touch that suspicious looking Will Powers photo, did I?
I think she's missing the point. Well, who in the heck was in the photo you erased?
Ha! A fanboy.
Fanboy?
Steel Samurai fanboys, real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day.
Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, you must know there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain.
I told you they were freaks. Oh,
And?
They're kids, children, whippersnappers.
Kids? So on the photo that you erased...
It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade.
What? Somebody just saw my horrible Danganronpa memes. Perfect timing, really. Order, order. Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. God, that was terrible. What the fuck?
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear.
Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy.
Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him suspect.
Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information, and no forgetting vital information this time. Mr. Powers. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio, I was sleeping. Honest.
So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really.
What? You should take better care of that stuff.
I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me?
It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick! What are we gonna do?
First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this.
Right, and it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day.
Right. If we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot.
You don't sound very optimistic.
I'm not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go.
What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Shit, I went back. I ought to go back. Take me back a space. It just might not exist. Shit.
The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else who could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers.
Very well, Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great, as if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person, other than Mr. Powers, that could have committed murder? Technically, the assistant girl could have done it. I don't think she did it, but she could have. I think it was a security lady. Let me think. Why could the security lady not have done it? Let's go there. What reasons do I have to believe the security lady could not have done it? I can't think of any good reasons off the top of my head as to why the security lady couldn't have done it. She could have feasibly left her post. She knows the blind. Maybe she knows the blind spots to the cameras. That would make sense because she's the one who has access to them. I'm leaning towards the assistant girl, though. I have no reason to believe she didn't do it. I have no information about her whereabouts that day at all, other than she was at the location. But I don't have any reason for motive. I had to do it, but it was the assistant. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. So you're saying the Steel Samurai is in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor.
If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot.
Oh, uh-oh, bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury?
Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me.
What about the assistant?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped.
That kind of takes the legs out from under that case.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I warned. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. May we move on, Mr. Wright? This fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please. Very well, go ahead. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder? It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag.
The who?
The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. See, the way I see this photo doesn't look like somebody dragging their leg. It looks like somebody wearing clothes that are literally 8 sizes too large for them. Like, if the leg is touching the ground here, that's a reasonable place for the leg to be. It's kind of a weird-ass gait, but... Also, who drags their leg when they've sprained their ankle? Usually you walk gingerly on it. You don't drag it behind you. That's just a really good way of hurting yourself worse. Trust me, as somebody who sprains their ankle all the fucking time. The security lady Oldbag.
What, whippersnapper?
Order, order! Is this true, Oldbag?
Oldbag? That's Ms. Oldbag to you.
Ms. Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right there. Sherlock Holmes II, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? He's just like, no, not really. I hate this bitch too. The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. No, press her further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Ms. Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it?
But that doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it nice? Is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders, day whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed. Let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. It's the card key. You need a card key to get into the studios. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. Hell, we had to steal this one. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Ms. Windy. What was her name?
Something old bag, Your Honor.
Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. I love characters' names in this game.
Well, wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree, me. I'm talking. Oh great, stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
Ms. Oldbag, what is this all about? And at this moment right here is where they remand her for no, what is it? Fuck. Where you piss off the judge in a court. It's always a bad idea. Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about?
By whom?
Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify.
Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been there at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Ms. Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag.
Mr. Wright,
your cross-examination. My lips were sealed.
Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people.
Okay. You were told not to talk.
That's right, by the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it.
Edgeworth is about to come over his fucking podium. I love it.
There were some other people in the studios on the day of the murder.
Who? What other people? Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy.
How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised. No one asked about it.
I don't know. Have you been here the whole time and just quiet, or did you just get here? Because if you just got here, you missed pretty much the entire investigation. You just got here? Oof. Yeah, big oof. Okay, so... You missed. We investigated the studios, and basically, there's no evidence, no solid evidence, not even really circumstantial evidence to prove that our dude murdered the other guy, the victim. But we really don't have jack shit worth of evidence in general. Right now, we're accusing this old bag of being the murderer, just so that we can get enough plausible deniability to push the case on to the next day, so we can look into to get more information and try and find a more stable person to accuse.
Yes, well, I was surprised that no one asked about it.
So, where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through.
Thank you for the host, by the way, Retro.
He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
God damn it.
Where?
Oh, at the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2.
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but... we're gonna ask some questions about this. Ms. Oldbag, this is a trial for murder.
I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it, and, well, they gave me a little bonus on the side.
Isn't that like the textbook definition of witness tampering? So you got your bonus and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. In a cross-examination, dude. But is any of this relevant? Just because other people were there, it still had to be whoever was in the costume. And they would have had to have gone past the camera in order to leave. Like, I know she's deflecting. I just don't know how to say as much with